Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. Look, if you're a senior leader or an executive trying to navigate the absolute whirlwind of artificial intelligence right now, you have landed in the exact right spot. Today, we're unpacking TIO Domain 1, leadership, and specifically, we're zeroing in on capability 2, fluency. Our goal? To move you and really your entire leadership team away from all that AI anxiety and endless hype and straight into informed, confident action. So let's just jump right in.
Let me ask you something to kick things off. Where is your enterprise depending on pure heroics, clunky workarounds, endless committees, or local exceptions just to handle AI right now? Because let's be totally honest with each other, in most modern organizations, AI activity is incredibly scattered. It's kind of chaotic. Employees are out there experimenting, shadow IT is popping up way faster than you can possibly track it, and without really clear leadership direction, you're basically asking for massive operational bottlenecks, or worse, some pretty significant security risks. So, to fix that chaos, we need a roadmap. Here's exactly what we're going to cover today. First, the AI leadership paradox. Second, fluency, judgment before jargon. Third, understanding the boundary line. Fourth, establishing your safe practice boundary. Fifth, building your personal AI workspace. And finally, moving from fluency to full-scale transformation. All right, step 1, the AI leadership paradox. Let's validate the very real, intense pressure that executives are dealing with right now. There is this massive paradox right now in the business world. On one hand, AI tools are easier to access than ever. They're spreading like wildfire, and vendors are quietly slipping them into the systems you're already using every single day. But on the other hand, doing the heavy lifting to actually absorb this technology safely, productively, and at scale, that remains incredibly elusive. The debate isn't about whether AI matters anymore. Standing still simply isn't an option. But here's the catch. Moving recklessly is going to destroy organizational trust.
Moving to part 2, fluency. Or, as I like to think of it, judgment before jargon. This is how you break through that paradox. Fluency is your organization's ability to help leaders understand, question, and sponsor AI with informed judgment. Notice what's missing from that definition? It doesn't say you need to be a software engineer. It says you need informed judgment. If your executive team doesn't have that, your entire transformation engine just stalls out at step 1. You literally cannot direct what you don't understand. Think of the sheer volume of AI hype out there, like a chaotic, noisy wave just crashing over your organization. It's totally overwhelming. But leadership fluency, that acts as a powerful, central lens. It takes all of that chaotic noise, strips away the flashy buzzwords, and focuses it into a precise, highly effective beam of informed judgment. That beam is exactly what allows you to cut through the empty vendor promises and actually govern your enterprise. Okay, part 3, understanding the boundary line. Let's clarify what exactly we are and are not asking you to do here. This is absolutely crucial. We have to draw a hard boundary line. On one side, you have fluency, which is what informs leadership judgment. On the other side, you have skills, which equip your people to actually do the technical work. You do not need the technical skills to build or code these AI models. But as a leader, you 100% must build the fluency to govern them, to sponsor them, and to rigorously challenge the use cases your teams bring to the table. Remember, judgment before jargon. But here's a pretty stark reality check. You cannot confidently sponsor what you do not use. Honestly, you just can't. You can't learn this stuff by sitting back and passively watching slick, highly rehearsed vendor demos where everything magically works perfectly. A leader who has never seriously used frontier AI systems is going to struggle immensely to sponsor, govern, or scale them well. You need true firsthand experience. Which brings us to part 4, the safe practice boundary. How do you get that experience safely if your enterprise doesn't even have approved AI tools yet? Well, your fluency journey has to begin by building an ironclad wall. On one side of that wall, you've got public AI tools that you access on personal devices. On the other side is the heavily guarded vault of your secured business data. While you are in this learning phase, you have to keep those two worlds entirely separate. You practice exclusively using strictly public information. That's how you protect the organization. And to make absolutely sure that vault is never breached, we have the golden rule of safe practice. Listen closely to this one. If the content would not be safe in a public release, an audit, a legal review, a board packet, or a customer conversation, do not put it into a personal AI tool, ever.
Describe your issues in broad general terms or just wait for your approved enterprise environment. This rule is non-negotiable for maintaining trust. All right, part 5, your personal AI workspace. Let's make this actionable for your day-to-day routine.
Here is your blueprint for executive fluency. Please don't just log into an AI randomly and stare at a blank prompt. Instead, configure what we call a personal AI chief of staff. Set up a dedicated, organized workspace fed only with public context about your industry and practice with it weekly. Use it as a one-on-one thought partner. Have it draft communications, help you rehearse tough decisions, or even red team your strategies, like having one model write a proposal and another aggressively challenge it. This is exactly how you build real, practical intuition. Finally, part 6, from fluency to transformation. Let's see how this scales from just you at your desk into a full enterprise shift.
It's really helpful to think of this progression in 3 distinct lanes. You start in lane 1, personal practice, where you experience AI as a thinking partner bounded strictly by public info. Once your organization catches up and builds the safe infrastructure, you shift into lane 2, approved enterprise use, utilizing those secure internal controls for real business analysis. And finally, you graduate to lane 3, transformation use cases. This is where you, as a highly fluent leader, can confidently sponsor large-scale AI projects, making sure they pass through evidence gates while keeping total human accountability. And this brings us right back to the core logic of the whole framework. Leadership directs, strategy chooses, fluency informs, governance decides, risk protects, transformation mobilizes. Think about it. Without fluency, your strategy is basically making blind choices, and governance is setting the wrong rules entirely. Your personal, safe practice with AI is literally the foundational block that informs every other decision your enterprise is going to make. Ultimately, enterprise transformation begins solely with clear leadership direction. There are 5 starting conversations you need to be having. You need to know exactly where AI is already operating in the shadows. You need to know which internal services have to be entirely redesigned before AI can even begin adding value. And you can only tackle these critical questions once you've filtered out the vendor hype using your own informed judgment. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question to really chew on. What must be true 3 years from now for stakeholders to say this transformation created real value? Spoiler alert, the answer isn't that you bought the flashiest, most expensive AI tool on the market. It's that leadership understood the technology well enough to direct it safely and effectively. It all starts with judgment before jargon. So establish your safe practice boundary today, set up that personal AI chief of staff, and kick off your fluency journey right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.